sowing the seeds for the division of the empire. Empress Queen Nai Ma Zhen of the Yuan Tai Zong Volkhodai. Queen Nai Ma Zhen, who grew up during the turbulent period when the Mongol tribes were at war with each other, was initially married to Kutu, a member of the Concubine tribe. Kutu was the son of Chu Hiechua, the leader of the contemptuous Kylga tribe, who had a long history of feuding with the Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, and had fought on many occasions. In the fall of 1204 AD, Temujin led his troops to defeat Chu Hiechua, the leader of the Shanabek tribe, at Huratli Kazawar. Kudu, the son of Tegedua, left his two concubines, Togai and Terikona, behind when he fled in haste. Temujin rewarded his third son, Volkhodai, for his bravery in battle by giving him Terikona. She became the sixth wife of Volkhodai and started a new life. In 1219 AD, Genghis Khan prepared to lead his army on a western expedition. Before his expedition, he gathered his four sons around him and solemnly explained the succession to the throne. He had already planned, let Volkhodai rule the throne and the country. As for my family, the army and the treasures I have collected, I will leave them in the hands of Tianlai. You must take care of yourselves and obey my will. In 1227, Genghis Khan died of illness during the conquest of Western Exile. 2 years later, in August 1229 AD, Volkhodai succeeded to the throne. It allowed Tatigona to become personally involved in the power struggle. Volkhodai did not treat his consorts equally. According to Mongolian marriage customs, the choice of consorts of the Mongol Yuan royal family retained the original custom of intermarriage between tribes. The Hongjisai tribe, where many beautiful women appeared, became the main object of Genghis Khan and his descendants in choosing their spouses. A few women from other tribes were also in the harem for specific reasons, and Queen Nai Ma Zhen was among the more influential ones. Remarried women like Terikona were not discriminated against. On the contrary, because of her talent and beauty, she was greatly favored by Volkhodai, thus making this sixth queen much more critical than Volkhodai's eldest wife, Mugadan. Volkhodai had 7 sons: Hiyu, Kojuan, Kodu, Hashizir, Hesho, Hedin, and Mele. Among them, the birth mothers of the first 5 sons were Tolikona. The birth mother of Hetan and Miri was the consort of Yelihuana. The Mongols loved to drink, and Volkhodai was even more addicted to alcohol. Whenever he drank, he would stay up all night. One day in February 1241 AD, the 13th year of Volkhodai's reign, Volkhodai returned from a hunting trip and was so happy that he had a great time drinking, but unexpectedly he fell ill. Empress Tolikona was in a panic and hurriedly approached Yelu Sichu to discuss the matter. Yelu Sichu material looked at the emperor's color and pressed the pulse. They knew it indulging in wine and sex after taking medicine could be restored. But after all, he knows the world, heard that Queen Nai Ma Zhen's superstitious astrological techniques not inevitably take the opportunity to play some tricks, deduce the tiny number. Said, Empress, rest assured that the Great Khan's life is not over, only because of the appointment of not wise people, imprisoned innocent people by the everlasting heaven's condemnation. As long as an amnesty is granted, the everlasting heaven will protect the Great Khan. Why did the loyal Yelu Chisai direct such a drama? It all started with the selection of the Khan by Volkhodai. Initially, Volkhodai chose his third son, Volkhodai, as his successor. Unfortunately, in 1236 AD, Gekiro died in the war against the Song dynasty. So, Volkhodai took Weiko's eldest son, Kurumatsu, raised him in his tent and appointed him as the heir to the throne of the Khan. The difference was that although all the kings and officials knew about Volkhodai's designation, it was not officially announced at the gathering of the nobles, like Genghis Khan's designation of Volkhodai. It provided an opportunity for Tatigona to do something about it. On the other hand, the dual Gona heard Yelu Chicaso say, then eagerly said, the matter should not be delayed. Please quickly write the royal edicts. Yelu Chicaso at this time, but unhurriedly and slowly said, no, the Great Khan personally pardoned the decree, only effective. In the middle of the conversation, Volkhodai woke up, listening to the Empress say they would be pardoned, and soon recovered from the disease. At the end of the same year, on the 8th day of the 11th month of the summer calendar in 1241 AD. Bugatti went out to hunt again and indulged in drinking in the tent, resulting in dizziness and numbness of the feet, and had no energy. She soon passed away at the age of 56. According to Mongolian custom, after the death of a tribal chief, his widow's eldest wife would be in charge of the government until a new chief assumed the throne. Since Volkhodai's eldest wife was childless, she died soon afterwards due to her grief over Volkhodai's death. In 1242, with the support of Sharbate and other princes, Turkona, the mother of the eldest sons, declared herself the ruler of the dynasty. With the supreme power in his hands, Tatigona became more ambitious, and wanted to change Volkhodai's wish of deposing Koremitsu and installing his son as the Khan. Giyu, as the eldest son, was the first to be chosen as the first Khan. For this reason, after the death of Khodai, Trugnar could not wait to discuss the succession with Yaochusai. The wise Yelu Chuci politely declined, saying, "This is not a matter that a foreign subject would dare to hear about." When Tolikona heard this, he said, when the late emperor was alive, he had made his grandson, Surayaman, the heir. But Surayaman was young, so it would be better for his eldest son, Giyu, to succeed. Yelu Chuci saw that this matter was critical and boldly said, the late emperor had his last order, and it should be obeyed immediately. At this time, Ordlahoben firmly favored Tolikona's opinion and advocated that the Empress should be the first to claim the throne. Ordlahoben was good at flattering and flattering, had been highly favored by Volkhodai, and was regarded as his beloved. Before this, Volkhodai had suggested increasing the tax in the Central Plains, and Yelu Chuci had argued with him in front of Volkhodai but failed to gain support. This time, Ordlahoben pandered to the Empress of Klagona, and Yelu Chuci realized that there would not be any result if he argued with him, so he could only sigh and retreat. After Klagona took over the throne, Ordlahoben became even more powerful. To retaliate against her, ministers sent people secretly planning to kill Chenhai and Teeth Old Weichi. Because the two have been aware of Liganus' ruthlessness, after hearing the news, she hid her son at the broad end of the residence to avoid persecution. When Tolikona found out about this, he asked his son for help. Quadrian, who knew right from wrong and had a sense of justice, replied, "They are all ministers. So if they are guilty, let the General Assembly of the Kuridai punish them." Upon hearing this, Tolikona was so furious that he asked another minister, Yamadu Mulek, to fabricate charges against them, and intended to have them convicted on the Kuridai. Yamadu Mulek is a man of integrity who refused to follow orders, but she was put in prison. Tolikona appointed his favorite woman, Fatima, to preside over the court, replacing Chenhai. Ordlahiban was sent to the Khitan to replace Yalewachi. When Tolikona was done, he gave Ordlahoben the imperial treasures of paper, and let him write as he pleased, and even made it worse by decreeing, if any of Ordlahoben's decrees are not written and promulgated, his hand will be cut off. Yelu Chuci couldn't stand it. He entered the court again and remonstrated. The world is the world of the former emperor. The imperial edicts have their charters. How can we use the imperial treasures and empty paper to pay the ministers of power? And he said with great righteousness, the world is the world of the former emperor. And said with great righteousness, the national code, the late emperor, all entrusted to the old minister. And what is your secretary? If something is reasonable, it will naturally be carried out. If it is impossible to do, I will not follow it. I will not shun even death, let alone cutting of my hand. Tolikona was furious and dismissed Yelu Chuci. From then on, Yelu Chuci was never able to realize his talent, and he was so disheartened that he claimed to be sick and refused to go to court, and in 1244, he died of sorrow and anger. At the beginning of 1241 AD, Volkhodai ordered Giyu to leave his army. When the news of Volkhodai's death reached Giyu's army, Giyu had not yet returned to his fiefdom of Yemalai. At this time, when the throne of the Khan was vacant, the army had not returned from the west. Empty troops surrounded the Mongol cannons, and Tolikina was disturbing the government, the head of the left wing of the clan. Kings, Kuchikin, had the ambition to take the throne by force. In the summer of 1243 AD, he approached the city of Hualien with a large army. The Mongol court was in turmoil, and the people and army were in a state of anxiety. Seeing this situation, Tolekona also wanted to follow the advice of other Concubines and moved westward to seek refuge. During this crisis, the news came that Guiyu's army had returned to Yemalai. Seeing that it was difficult to realize the plan, the excellent Kai Jin saw the opportunity to act, tricked as a funeral, retreated to the east, and lifted a civil war crisis without any danger. However, good Kai Jin called troops, and Lin incident occurred, but aggravated the crisis brought about by Khan's vacant position. In addition, Batu, who had the status of a patriarch, refused to be summoned to the meeting on the pretext that he was ill, which delayed the convening of the Khu Nia Letha for the selection of the new Khan. After Giyu arrived at the court, Tategona, seeing that the situation was unfavorable to him, summoned his ministers and decided to elect Giyu as the Khan without waiting for the gathering of the princes. Then, Tiremina informed the clan's nobles of his intention and invited them to come and hold the cruelty as soon as possible. In the spring of 1246 AD, clan members and nobles worldwide were summoned to attend the Kureta. At the meeting, it was argued that the throne should be assumed as the heir of Volkhodai, who Volkhodai had appointed before his death. However, under the auspices and maneuvering of the claimant, Tarekona, the meeting was rejected on the grounds of the young age of the ruler. However, at the suggestion and insistence of Tarekona, the assembly, on the ground that the eldest son of Kadai, Giyu, was best known for his valor, bravery, perseverance, and mastery of the people, formally proclaimed Giyu as Dingzong in August of that year, in the land of the Uemi Cowardly Lands, in the place of the Golden Medallion. After Tarekona put Giyu Khan on the throne, he still held on to the power of the Khanate. Giyu was unhappy that she could not be recognized as the Khan, and the relationship between mother and son began to fall apart. To regain the power of the Khan's court, Giyu decided to get rid of Fatima, a favorite of his mother. Fatima was a Persian sorceress who had been taken to Hualien by the Mongols, and gradually gained favor and became involved in the government. Giyu asked his master, Hato's servant, Lyaret, to expose Fatima. He accused Fatima of witchcraft to harm Quaoduan, Guiyu's younger brother, making Quaoduan weak and sick. It so happened that Quaoduan's illness was getting worse and worse, and then the news of Quaoduan's death came. On the pretext of avenging his brother's death, Giyu ordered Fatima to be killed, despite the robust protection of Toledongana. He also reappointed Chenhai and Yala Weichi and later tried to execute Udrua Hopen. Jiuolegona never dreamed that his son would betray him so much. At this time, she was already empty-handed. Giyu seized power, and their favorites were also killed one after another. She could not help but feel remorseful, pounding pain. She was so old that she died a sad death. Since Volkhodai succeeded to the throne, Torigona took full advantage of her position and competed for power. To secure the throne, she changed the will of the late emperor and established her son as the Khan. Although she succeeded in her plot to make her son the Khan, she became her gravedigger in the end, which was sad,